Hey guys, how's it going? So today we'll be talking about this computer slash brick here. This is the UGREEN NAS DXP4800 PLUS, and I'm very grateful that UGREEN sent this out for me to review. No money exchange hands, but this is a pretty big gift that they gave me, so I feel like I do need to disclose that, and I will have links for you to buy in the description. I'm not going to be benefiting financially from these links, just want to let you know that up front that I'm not collecting commission. That tends to help me change what I say, but anyway, let's get right into it. So, I know this thing looks really scary. It was scary to me too, and I still quite wasn't sure what this thing is, even though I'm a techie myself. But it's actually an incredibly simple solution to a problem that's been around for a while. Have you ever been frustrated with cloud solutions? They're getting expensive and you always run out. And on top of that, there's monthly fees, and sometimes it's just slow to access your data, whether it's your documents, your photos, your videos, etc. But having something like this is a good solution for that. So, why do you need a NAS? Let's start off with the basics. What is a NAS? A NAS stands for a network attached storage, and it's pretty much just a fancy way of saying it's your own personal cloud. You store your data locally on your own hard drives. If you're wondering why not just use Google Photos, Google Drive, iCloud, Box, Dropbox, etc., well, you don't own those servers. Who knows what they're doing with their data? And if for whatever reason something happens to those companies, or all of a sudden they decide to do a price increase, you're kind of out of luck. And on top of that, they're expensive. But with UGREEN's NAS DXP4800 PLUS, you only buy it once and there's no monthly fees depending on how much storage you want to get. And speaking of storage, you can get up to 112 terabytes with this particular model. That's enough to store 39 million pictures, 170 million files, or 76,000 movies. So if you have a Plex server, this is a good option for you. So I think you got the idea of what this is. So let me continue with the build and the design. And wow, this thing is solidly made. It's made out of pure metal, and it really does feel like it too. It's heavy because, I mean, it is an entire computer and you are storing a lot of hard drives in this, and the build quality just fits right in. I've been just leaving mine right on the desk. If this thing was ugly, I would have just kept it in the closet somewhere, and because it is connected to your local area network, you just plug it right into your router, so you can just keep it hidden wherever. But because I like the way it looks, I'm going to keep it right on my desk. And so let's look at the back. You get a series of USB ports and HDMI out, so you can plug this into a TV or a monitor, etc., and you can just look at your movies from there and your photos, which is also kind of cool. But for me, though, I want to keep this simple. So all I'm using for me is just the DC out, which is obviously to give it power, and the LAN 1 port, which goes right into my router. That's it. That's the only cables that are going into this device. You can make it a lot more complicated if you wanted to, if that suits you. But anyway, so you are getting ventilation at the back, gigantic fans. Remember, this is running a computer in here, and it has a fully fledged operating system, which I'll show a little bit later on. You get a nice little dust filter, and yes, it is made out of metal as well too. Connects right through magnets. And speaking of which, I know I have a screwdriver here, but for the most part, you don't need any tools for this entire setup. So anyway, making our way over to the back, and this is the only time where you will need tools if you wanted access to the M.2 storage, which is nice to have, but I feel like a lot of the speed might just be wasted just because this is running off of the cloud, etc. You're not going to get the same speeds as if it was connected right to your laptop or your computer itself. And look, you have a RAM slot right here. You can add another one. And right here, you can add two M.2 NVMEs if you wanted to. I'm not right now. I might in the future, actually, but I like having the option. So I'm just going to screw this back in. And this is the last time I'm going to need the screwdriver, so I can just get rid of it. So going around to the front, this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. You have an SD card slot, which is nice, USB Type-C, and another USB Type-A 3.2. This is your power button. Obviously, it won't work now because I'm not connected to the power. And this is where your drives go, and it comes with a little key, too, to lock it. Just in case. I mean, this is a very generic key. It's not unique to this particular device. It's just so nobody accidentally takes out your drives while you're using it. So And it's super easy to set up too. All you do is just press this button right here, and then it just lifts right up. And I know, and honestly, there's a lot about this stuff that was just kind of, I was a bit worried about, and I didn't even know if I wanted to accept this because, man, it seems complicated on paper. I mean, UGREEN did everything they possibly can to make it as easy as possible. And again, with the toolless design. So to add a drive, there's a button right here. You just press it, pull it out, and then the hard drive can come in and out, and it's compatible with a whole bunch of different hard drives. I'm very fortunate that UGREEN also sent me these WD Red Pluses, and they have been just working perfectly so far. So to install it, you literally just slap it in here, and then you can tell that there's some screws right here, which again, this is toolless. And you can also see there's a little pointy end here. You just line it up. It fits right in, and then you just close it shut. That's it. And then literally all you do is just drop it in. Like, it couldn't be any simpler. And then press that, close it, and if you wanted to, you can use the key to turn this upwards, and then it locks it. That's it. And you just download the software, and it's incredibly simple. The software just walks you right through it. So you just have to go in there and choose the type of drive configuration you want. It tells you the pros and cons of using each one of them. I use RAID 0 because it's faster, but if one of these hard drives fail, and spinning hard disks will fail. The NVMe's less chance of that happening, almost zero chance, I would say. But these spinning hard disks will fail eventually. It's just the nature of the technology. But I'm living on the wild side, so I set 2 of them to be RAID 0 so it's faster. And then the other 2, I just set them up as regular drives, just so I have kind of like the best of both worlds. So anyway, so then from there, you just create a drive. And what I did, I just created a shared drive just for all of my YouTube footage for now. But then eventually I'm going to start loading all of my personal photos on this and everything. So one thing I noticed immediately was how quickly things uploaded to this drive compared to when I'm uploading to like Google Drive or OneDrive, etc. Uploading to the internet takes a long time because this is all stored on my local network. And I'm using Wi-Fi 6E, not Wi-Fi 7, which would have been even faster. And I found that things moved along really quickly. This NAS stack is powered by a 12th generation 5-core Intel processor, so things just move really quickly. And you can transfer with speeds up to 1,250 megabytes per second. That's like 1 terabyte every 20 minutes. Compare that to any of your cloud storage options, that would take hours, even with a good internet connection. There's an AI-powered photo organization. You can search for photos just by entering keywords like pets, cars, vacation, and the NAS sync automatically sorts pictures into albums for people, places, and even objects. Really cool stuff. So I just kind of went through the basics of the software. With the DXP4800 Plus, there's so many things you can configure. Some of this stuff I barely understand, and I've been covering tech for like 4 years now. And another thing I didn't mention too is you don't need a PC to run this. There is a mobile app. You can run this on the web, iOS, Android, and even your TV. Meaning you can access your files from literally anywhere. If you need to grab a file while you're working remotely, no problem. If you need to stream a movie from your NAS to your TV, also easy. So now let's talk privacy, which I kind of alluded to before. You don't have to worry about it because this is not going up to the cloud. The only servers that this is being stored on is on your own local computer. You could also manage permissions to safeguard sensitive files so they don't go into the wrong hands. So for example, if you only want certain people to see a certain folder, you can create a shared folder and only give access to people for that particular folder, and they don't have access to anything else. So let me know what you guys think. I know the initial cost of this could seem kind of high. It's like around like $549, but I do have a coupon code down below, and that'll give you 15% off. Just use that. Like I said, I'm not financially benefiting from you using those links. I've just really been happy with this thing, man. This is going to transform the way I make videos. I know not everybody is a YouTuber, but if you have a Plex server, if you have tons of photos that you've taken throughout the decades, I'm not even saying that this is like a full replacement for iCloud or Google Photos, etc. But instead of you having to spend a lot of money for those monthly subscription plans, you can just keep all of your photos here and then maybe keep your favorites on those cloud platforms and not have to spend as much money. So let me know what you guys think. If there's something I didn't cover, leave me a comment. And thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.